In this video, we're going to create some sample animation at 3 different frame rates and compare them side by side. Here is the star of our video, a newly acquired Bart Simpson minifigure. Suppose that for our film, we want Bart to skate down this street. The width of the frame is only about 5 skateboards long. I think it would be reasonable if it took him exactly 1 second to cross the screen. The question is, how many pictures do we need to take to make it look like Bart is skating fluidly down the street? The number of pictures you show each second is called the frame rate of your movie. Many brick filmers, especially new ones, start out at really low frame rates. The Lego Movie Maker mobile app will let you do as low as 1 frame per second, and it maxes out at 10 frames per second. I created my first films in 2003, and back then I used a frame rate of 8 frames per second. Let's start this tutorial by filming Bart crossing the street at 8 frames per second. The first thing I'm going to do is tell my software that I want my frame rate to be 8 frames per second. My next problem is to figure out how far I need to move Bart for each picture to create fluid-looking motion. This software allows me to overlay a grid on the camera view. Since I want this motion to take about a second, I'm going to draw a grid with 8 vertical markers evenly spaced across the screen. If I move Bart from one marker to the next, he should cross the entire screen in 8 shots. As I get ready to take the first picture, I'm carefully lining up the front of Bart's head with the first marker line. Once I take the picture, I'm ready to move Bart over to the next marker line. Each time I move him, I'm lining up the same part of his head with the next line. This will assure that it looks like Bart has a smooth, constant speed. While we're watching this process in real time, I will take a moment to describe my setup for you. I'm recording my pictures with a Canon T2i. The camera is not storing the pictures, but dumping them straight onto the computer. This screen capture video is showing you the interface of the editing software I use. It's called Dragon Frame 3. I used to use a program called iStop-Motion. One of the benefits of programs like these is the onion skin or ghosting effect that you can turn on while you're recording your footage. The reference lines are great, but I like being able to see the exact position of the character in the previous frame as I commit to where to put him in the next shot. The ghosting images are particularly helpful if you have multiple characters on the screen at once. You can easily tell if you've moved everyone you're supposed to move in each shot. Okay, I'm done recording this motion. Let's see what it looks like. So, it's not that bad, but it is a little jumpy. Let's look at some other options. The jumpiness at 8 frames per second was largely due to how far I was moving Bart between frames. It would be better if I didn't have to move him so far. However, if I move him half as much, it will take twice as long to cross the screen. That's not good. I still want it to take about a second for him to cross the screen, not 2 seconds. I can handle this by telling the program that I now want to flash more pictures across the screen each second. I like to use 15 frames per second. Now, in order to make it look like Bart has a nice constant speed, I'm going to have to create 15 vertical marker lines to help me get him across the screen in 1 second. This part is tedious, so I'm going to play the screen capture 4 times faster. Alright, I've just finished filming Bart crossing the street using 15 frames. I'll now play the video at 15 frames per second. This looks a lot cleaner than the previous go. Let's do this one more time. This time I'm going to switch the frame rate to 24 frames per second, and I'm going to create a grid of 24 vertical reference lines to help me move Bart smoothly across the table. Even playing the screen capture back at 4 times the actual rate, this takes a while. While we're waiting, I'll mention some other things about the software. To be clear, these marker lines are an overlay in the recording software. They will not be present when I export the movie to my editing software. After I finish this motion capture, I'll open all 3 animations of Bart in Final Cut Pro 10 and show you a side-by-side comparison. Okay, done. So what do we have? That's pretty nice. So here they all are, one at a time, and here's a side-by-side comparison. You can see that, in fact, each animation takes 1 second to get Bart across the screen. You can also see that the 24 frames per second version is the prettiest. So, which rate should you use? The short answer is the highest rate you have time to do. At this point, I film most of my stuff in 15 frames per second. It isn't perfect, but considering how long my films are, I can't justify the additional time it would take to go any higher. If you want to see real examples of movies I've made at different frame rates, you can check out my LEGO Batman series. Season 1 was filmed entirely at 10 frames per second, and Season 2 is being done at 15 frames per second.
I said almost.
I hope this video is helpful to all you aspiring filmmakers out there. Thanks for watching.